everyone, welcome to my channel Summary AI. This class we are going to see more details into object-oriented programming concepts. So last class what we have seen till now is classes, how we can make them and how we can initiate any instance of the class, how we can define instance variable, class variable, and how we can use them. Right, so this class we are going to see more into static methods, or what is a class methods and what is the use of that, right? So I'm just going to create a class method here, and you can use the decorator. This at the rate that I'm using, it's a decorator. uh, so let's class method, and then we can define this as a normal method. So how we can define a normal method, right, or function? We learn how to define a function, right? So let's say here I am going to define something which actually changes my the variable, the class variable which I already initiated here, price change, right? So what I was talking earlier, that this my price change for every brand, inside my class or the instances that I have here, right? For every brand, every year I'm expecting a price change which is common to each and every brand and the model, right? And which is 5%. That's why we were using this here at the class level. So I can use this as a common template for all. Now, let's say this 5% is changed to something else, or let's say this is going to change to some other percentage. It is 5%, it might increase, it might decrease, right? So let's say I know that it is going to increase by 2 more percentage, which is going to be now 7%. Let's say in that particular case, I'm going to use a class method and I'm going to define the change here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another function and I'm going to call it set price change and created a function, right? Now this is a class method. We know that if you create any method inside your class, the first argument which it takes automatically is a self, or we should give a self as a first argument. Now as this is not a normal method, this is a class method, so this cannot be same. We have to use something else, right? So we are going to give CLS. This is actually means a class, but we cannot use class CLASS, right? Because class is already a keyword in Python which is used to create a classes. So same keyword we cannot use. So that's why we have something called CLS, or we can use CLS, and then the argument that you want to pass. So now I want this function to take an argument called, let's say, change, because I want this price to change, right? So I'm just calling it change. So how much is the change is what I have to define then, right? And then I'm going to use this. So CLS dot price change equal to change. Okay, so CLS, because I have initiated the first argument here is CLS, right? So CLS will initialize this. So using CLS dot price change, I'm going to change this variable here, right? Or this which I declared earlier. I'm going to change this with a change which I'm going to define. Okay, so similar to defining any function, I'm just using a class method, right? So this is I'm defining, this is not a normal method, this is a class method, and I'm saying this is what this function will do. When I'm going to use this and pass a particular change, then my price change should reflect the same. Okay, I hope this is clear. So now what we are going to do, we are going to use this method. So now if okay, so till now what I can do, I can go ahead and print what is my price change, right? So print car dot price change. So I mean, till now we have not used this method, so I'm not expecting any change here, right? So let me run this, and if you see, my old price change was 5%, and it should give me 5%. So nothing has changed, and you can see this for all different. This is for the class and all the instance of the classes also. So car1 and car2, let's quickly run this, and you can see 5% for each and every instance in the actual class, because I have not changed it yet. Okay, now let's say I'm going to change this and I'm going to say car, because car is what I'm going to use because it's a class name, right? I cannot use anything, any method or anything inside the class without using the class name, right? Class, sorry, car. So I can use an instance and I can use the actual class also. So car dot set price change, and the price change is how much? Let's say we are going to say 0. It was 5%, right? Let's say 7%. Okay, so now I am going to change this, right? And after that I am going to print it, because now what it will do, let me just copy it here. So now I'm expecting it to before change what is the percentage here, and after I change this, right, after I change this, it is impacting only the class or the all the instance of class. It will give me that idea, right? Because I'm printing this for car, car1 and car2. So these two are instances of the class and this is my actual class, right? And we have already seen if there was no change, if I'm using any class variable and if I'm using that to check what is for my instance and actual class, it is showing me for everything. If I using something in a class variable, it's giving me same result for every instance also. Now here when I change this, let's see what happens. So let me run this and let me just, right, so if you see here, it says for car, car1 and car2 before change, right, it was 5%. After that, for car and every instance, the change is already done. Okay, so this change is already done for each and every instance and also the actual class, right? So this is how I can we can use this class methods. Okay, and this can be very useful if you're dealing with something like which changes or which has a different forms, like any dates, or let's say people pass their names in different format, like some person has a first name written and the last name written, and the date, actually date is very useful because you get different types of dates which can be written in different formats. So someone is using month, date and year, someone is using month, date and timestamp. So there are a lot of things that can be done in this one, right? So class method will definitely help if you're receiving different dates in different formats, right? That is one lifetime example that you can understand, you can try to understand using. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one static method, and to create a static method you use a decorator and static method and then define that particular method that you want to create. So in this case, let's say I want to find out mileage of every car, or rather say that I want to find out if the mileage is good or bad, right? I want to write a method which tells me uh, if I give a CC, or if I define how big is the engine. Let's say if I see for my car the CC is 2000, right? Or the CC is 1500 CC only, right? So what could be the mileage? And if you know that there is some dependence between the CC and the higher the engine, the fuel efficiency will go low, right? So I'm just going to write a simple method, define mileage, okay, and which will take input of CC. Okay, this is not yet defined, I'm going to just define everything. Okay, and I'm just going to write a simple method. So if CC is greater than 1499, let's say if the engine is bigger than 1500 cc, I'm saying the fuel efficiency will be low. So return low, and else return, let's say good. Okay, if it is lower than 1500 cc, I'm expecting that the mileage will be better than the bigger engines, right? So I'm expecting the mileage will be better here, right? So it will return good, right? So I have written this small method. This is very easy, we have already seen this many times, right? Now what I'm going to do, this method which I've written mileage, right, I'm going to use this, and let me just make this at the bottom, and let me comment this. Okay, commented. Okay, coming here. So now I have this method already written. Let me just bring it so you can see the method also when I'm actually using it. Okay, now let's say I have to give a car one cc, right? So car one, let's say I'm saying polo is how much? Let's say 1500 cc. Okay, and car 2 cc is 1200 cc. Okay, now I'm calling the carbon. Sorry, I'm giving a cc value for carbon and car 2, right? And now I'm going to print using this method which I defined here, right? So print car. Yeah, always guys, don't forget that you cannot use a method without actually using the class. So car dot mileage, and we are going to pass car 1 first here. Let me copy this, and car 2. Okay, now I've defined here what is a cc for car 1, which is 1500, and car 2 1200, right? And then I'm printing um, mileage for car 1 using this particular cc, and for car 2 I'm using this mileage as my this method here. If you see this mileage method I'm using. Okay, let me print this. Okay, it's going down. Okay, so now it says here low and good. So for the first car here, car1.cc, I'm using 1500, right? So it was more than 1499 here, so it is saying low. For the second one, which is the 1200 cc, it's saying it might have good mileage. Okay, so this is how I can use this static and class method to figure out some operations inside it and change it when I want. So that's all for this class, guys. Thank you. If you have learned something from the class, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit on the bell notification. So next time when I upload a video, you'll get notified. Thanks for watching.